Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself.
Check it. Let's open the book of hip-hop and make advances. My supreme knowledge of alchemical sciences only enhances my ability to drop metaphysical answers. When asked about the MC, the DJ, the graph, the dancers, earth, air, fire, water, all being born to hip-hop. Study hard, you get that. Forget rap, cause it's not. The transformation from lead to go, from man to God, can be achieved through hip-hop. It's art, the planet's ours. The colors and tones and archetypes will spark the light. Give your third eye a bird's eye, restore the loss of sight. You already lost the fight whenever I come across the mic, because you're dealing with God and you can never exhaust the light. We making the shift from hip hop to God hop. It's the return of the ancient ones and we coming non-stop. So when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I'm here, straight from the boogie down, so have no fear.
They're in the matrix heavy.
Yep.
They go to these so-called higher educational systems and they don't deviate from that. So there's a disconnect from the child. They just there, and then they hear something out of the box like, whoa, I never really, you know what I mean? So a lot of them have lost their passion for teaching. Teaching is a highly spiritual, advanced position.
Spiritual position as well, too.
It's a spiritual position, not just you here get your paycheck, learn this curriculum. No, that's not what teaching is. That's indoctrination. Teaching is highly advanced and highly spiritual. So a lot of them have lost their passion for teaching. You know what I mean? I'm passionate about what I do. You understand? So I travel places for free half the damn time because I'm passionate and I believe that the universe will provide compensation for that further down the line, because I want to look in a child's face and say, yeah, I'm hip hop too. But let me show you how advanced hip hop can be when you apply knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to it. It ain't just kick these words. Yes.
I want to big up what you're doing, because on the concept of teacher, it being such a highly spiritual thing, I'm learning as a baby, right, that you can't teach anybody anything.
Right.
Ultimately, you can give them an example or a rites of passage, but they have to ultimately teach themselves.
Yes.
So I want to put on record like that what you're doing is that, but it's still not common sense to us yet.
Yes.
So keep doing what you're doing, but just to point out that thing about how teaching is spiritual is that the person has to take themselves out and has to see where the people are and meet them on halfway.
Yes.
So with your the hip hop decoded with everything that you're doing in your lane, that is a landmark. So like people can use that as an example and apply it to whatever it is that they're doing. So like with music too, especially it being such a powerful thing, you're already doing it, but maybe you can elaborate on like examples on how people can utilize music or the hip hop, which where our people are at right now, on how to incorporate it into whatever other activity is that they're doing.
Well, that's key, and that's what I try to do. So find that hip hop angle, and I tell people my book wasn't about hip hop. On the surface, it was about hip hop, but it was about occult science, numerology, astrology, mathematics, as it related to hip hop. You know what I mean? So hip hop being the medium of the day. That's all it is. When we create something else, I will have to find the angle within that to show them a reflection of themselves within it. And I just noticed that, you know, everybody was on this hip hop stuff, and because I was from the birthplace of hip hop, I saw all the many different phases, but I wanted to teach about the chakras. I wanted to teach about our history as it related to hip hop. So if hip hop is the vibration in which me and this youth have to meet, okay, cool. Now let's find out the advanced lessons that could be, you know, the steps that could be, you know, taken within hip hop. So you never have to leave who you are, son. I get it. You hip hop, but let's find the different angles, the many angles that hip hop can be, you know, the basis to teach from. And that's where a lot of these teachers lose the child too, because if the child is hip hop, everything about his or her swag is this hip hop culture or subculture, however you look at it, and you're not teaching from within that paradigm, then you've lost the child. You've lost the child. So my first couple of lectures, when you watch the DVDs, I had the bottle of Hennessy up on there, and we was going in, and I was pouring the Hennessy and drink, because this is the vibration, or, you know, what the children related to. Watch the video closely. It's 7 hours. I took 3 drinks and a Hennessy. But you would not know that.
What lecture was that?
That was the very first lecture I did, which was called Decoding the Matrix of Hip Hop. I'll provide it. You might have it up here already.
I think so, yeah.
That's the very first one I did, but I had all of the external devices in place to draw the youth in so that when they saw it, they saw the bottle of Hennessy. So you know I'm not judging. If you drinking, I didn't smoke because I wasn't smoking at the time. I still don't, except 2 or 3 times a year. If the spirit hit me, I gotta throw that in there. You know what I mean? If the spirit hit me, because this is who we are as a collective. You know what I mean? So if my spirit say, yeah, I want to puff a little weed with him, you know what I'm saying? I'll sit down with the guards and do it. I went to Bermuda. Yeah, they took me up way up in the mountains and they rolled up one. So I'm like, yeah, this is a spiritual event right here. So I spoke with them, we shot back. You know, them trying to come down the mountain was a little crazy. So I had to hold on because it wasn't something that's in my bloodstream on a regular basis. That's a side note. But that particular lecture, I wasn't even really drinking that much. But I took a few tastes. You know, you would think it was an optical illusion that I sat and drank the whole bottle of Hennessy. No, I took 3. I was drinking the water, the diluted. But when the youth saw it, it was 7 hours. I had youth tell me they watched the whole thing because they felt like I was coming from their perspective. And I cursed up a storm. I learned that from Bobby Hammett and them. So it was on their vibration. Now when you watch my lectures, I may curse twice. You know, because now I've elevated them to a point where I don't have to do that as much. But I felt early on I had to come as the people to teach the people. So I didn't want to be talking down to them. I want to let them know I get it. I know these are things that take place in hip hop. So I'm not here to judge you. But the lessons I taught within that, you know what I mean, was through the roof. You see what I'm saying? So it's important that hip hop can be used to teach astrology, numerology. I do it all the time. I just find the hip hop angle. I'm creating the whole astrology chart. And instead of, you know what I'm saying, the scales and this and that, I'm putting hip hop, you know, archetypes within, so you can, whether it's Nas being Virgo, so why not put a picture of Nas there? You know, so I'm giving y'all pieces of the next book, but I can do that out here. You know what I mean? I'm creating the whole tarot deck from hip hop pieces. So the Chariot may be a Benz. But I'm doing it in the way so that when you lay out the tarot cards now, you see who you are. All right, these are pieces from hip hop recoded. I decoded it now. I'm putting it back together. So I'm showing you how we're gonna use hip hop to, you know, relate to who we are as a collective. You know what I mean? Because it's a tool that can be used. And like I said, when we move on to something else, when the youth decide we're tired of what hip hop is, we're just gonna go into our brains and create something else. Nothing can stop them. They created everything you see. Then I'll have to make some adjustments and find an angle, because I don't come out of my lane. If you ask me about something, I'll be like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I stay within the lane because this is not teaching. I'm just expressing, you're the students, you know what I'm saying? You have within you all that is. I'm just trying to create a couple of, you know, markers along the way that bring out that which is already inside of you. So hip hop became my thing because I was going to all of these lectures with all of these elders and they were teaching high advanced stuff, but I looked around and I didn't see nobody who looked like me. I saw all the elders who were just there to get their feed, so to speak. You know, a lot of the elders go to church to feel good, but the youth are the ones who are gonna act on it. So I didn't see no youth in the building with all of these advanced lessons. So I said, no. I'm gonna find a way to get the youth in the building. So I chose the name Black Dot. That's just a point of reference. All right, I want to become that point of reference that leads you to where you need to go. No, I'm not advanced in any of these subjects. I'm not advanced, but I'm a point of reference that you can use to help you get to that next particular, that doorway. So that's the name I chose. I started taking 5 minutes of this lecturer and that lecturer and putting music to it. I don't even have copies. It was called the Meta Music Mixes. I did about 5 or 6 volumes. And I was putting them out with 6-minute clips of all the latest music, but taking out the verses and putting Bobby, Phil, Jewel Pookrum, C. Freemanel, and the youth was loving it because it was just in 3-minute increments. That was my way of opening up the doorway of mixing metaphysics, occult science with pure hip hop. You know what I mean? And they blew off the hinges. And then, you know, just during my conversations, these conversations were so advanced with Brother Panic and I see it, the Duke of Tiz. We were having such advanced conversations that they kind of tricked me into doing the first lecture. The first lecture, like I said, was 6.5, 7 hours. They had to trick me into doing it. You know what I mean? So I showed up one day and the cameras was rolling. They said, come on, man, you got to do this lecture. So I said, all right, I'll do the lecture for you. And it led to what it is I do now because the information resonated with the people so much that here it is. Wow. Yes.
The question is to do with teaching. So we can't rely on the regular education system because we know that it's a trap, right? So in terms of teaching, I think we got to realize, especially with our young children, is we use this word empowerment a lot. You know, we need to empower them. And somebody told me, he said, no. He says, if you have to empower them, they will always be a slave to you. He says, if you're really concerned about the children, teach them to empower themselves. Right? And there's a clear distinction. So as a parent, the teaching that we do to our children is not about a one-way sharing of information, not even sharing, of giving of information. It's about teaching them how to learn it themselves, empower themselves, so that when you're not there, the learning continues.
Yes.
Right? And I want to make that clear, right, about Richard.
Great
Good
point.
to see you, guy.
Great point.
About the teaching, because what I find in the Western world right now, we don't support each other. We have a brother doing some work, we have an organization doing some work, and we leave them alone. And they trip and they fail because we're not there to support them. So that collective, collaborative approach, we've lost, right? And that's traditionally our history. We've always done things as a village and as a community. Whereas right now we have individual people doing excellent works.
Yes.
But everybody's watching them, right, instead of joining in. So we have to find a better way of collaborating and supporting each other. Because I'm telling you, the journey is not easy. When you decide to be a leader or an organization, it's not going to be easy, right? And we need to be there to support each other and back up our brothers, right? We need help.
And it's
right?
also important when we come together at these venues, if we are already doing certain initiatives like Brother Nana is doing, present that to the people so that they are in on it.
That's a great point, because we were doing lectures. 200-300 people would show up, and within the audience were people who had medical experience, all kind of experience, but you didn't know, because we didn't have events where we say everybody bring their business card and throw it in the bucket, or everybody gets 5 minutes to come on stage and tell us what it is they do. Because within the community, a lot of times it's everything you need, but you don't know. I worked for transit for 20 years, and it was some of the most brilliant people I had ever met right there within that midst, but they took the job and they kind of put their dreams to the side or whatever. So it's very important that we know who's in our midst at all times. So we have to start, and I'm putting this on camera so that it goes all around the country. The very first thing we do before you introduce the keynote speaker is we have to give these people 3 to 5 minutes to come on stage, those who have a service to provide. Because within our community is everything we need, but if we don't know, we go outside of the community and we give these people our money because we don't think our people have the ability to do it, because we never asked. You know what I mean? So we gotta start asking, brother, what do you do? Oh, you an electrician? Wow, well, you know, my aunt need work on her house. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna, hire you to get that particular work done, and then she'll tell 2 friends, and she'll tell 2 friends, and within our community, that's how the Jews do it. That money don't leave the community.
That's what I was about to say. These are protocols that are instituted by many other so-called minorities or small groups of people to recycle wealth within their own community to flourish.
That's how the Caucasians do.
Of course.
That's what the Caucasians do. The main reason why I'm doing this, because I talk to them all the time and I pick their brain. They think I'm just talking, but I know what I'm picking out of their brains, you know? And this is what I think they do in their community, is just to keep what they know that is pain and is keeping their kids out of trouble and giving their kids like work and money in their pocket. They teach it in your community to just basically have them doing what they are doing right now. For instance, like last year they did intake of work, and the intake was
I had four Nubians go to the intake, and I asked them how many Nubian were in line, and they go, "Whoa, the line was around the building, and there was only like at least 7 people of Nubian color, and most of them were Caucasians." And I go, "So what is going on here, man? Why aren't we out there looking for each other? Because they don't let us educate ourselves about that type of. But if you stand on top of the CN Tower and you look down, everything is construction-wise, and they took it all." And the money is in their pocket now.
Right.
And you're keeping it out.
And they're getting residuals out and all of that.
Yeah. The word community, people say it so fast. When you slow it down, it's come in unity. So really, truly, when you come in unity, things have to happen.
Yes.
But when we come together, nothing happens, and it's still not a community.
Right. Great point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And also, the economics. You know what I mean? We have to empower ourselves economically. Point blank. I don't care how you dress it up. We should not. It's enough of us to open up our own center where we didn't get kicked out yesterday.
Thank you.
I mean, you see what I'm saying? Because everyone has something to offer. If we want to build, and we had to start with one center at a time, and then we branch out to another center because the economic situation is critical. If all these rappers and ballers in our youth are seeing that, and they can't find that within their own community, then they're gonna shed our community and go elsewhere. We have a problem helping each other. That's the problem. Yeah. We've been conditioned, I ain't helping him, nah. Well, it's enough, we can open up a bookshop every month.
Right.
It's enough people to come to these lectures, but listen, dues are paid. It's $100 a month until we reach our goal. They do it in church all the time. This is why the church is a mega church. It's because the people found themselves obligated, whether you agree with their system or not. Listen, dues, we got to pay dues here. You can't just come to this church and get the good word of Jesus. Jesus needs money. So this is how they operate, and next you know they go from a little small church, now they got mega churches, you know what I mean, and so forth and so on. So because we're teaching, you know what I'm saying, our babies, dues got to be paid. It's a membership here, and dues have to be paid. And if you don't have the physical dues, you're gonna have to work that off.
Pay some dues somewhere.
Pay some dues somehow. You know what I mean? And this is how we build what we need, so that nobody can tell us, "Oh, y'all gotta leave." You know what I mean? No. So we have to create that empowerment within the community. They have these supermarkets now called like co-op supermarkets where, as a membership, you got to work a couple of hours a month in the supermarket to get your, discounted groceries. So you're gonna be working a stock for 4 hours a week at this particular supermarket, but it helps the supermarket keep the prices low. They have that in New York City. Wow.
It's just like rent.
Yeah, you gotta work for that. You gotta strap up and mop them floors and so forth, because this is how they're able to keep the prices low, so you can get your organic groceries at a great price. So they all collectively came together and said, all right, we're gonna open up the supermarket. We all own the supermarket. It's just that we all have to work in it. You know what I'm saying? And if you doing 20 hours, you doing 20 hours, we keep the prices low, and then we're able to give those savings back to us because we're the
ones that own it.
I'm not only a client,
I'm also the president.
Right? And that's where we're losing it.
I don't know if you know, but here it's embarrassing. Every community, this is immigration center of the planet. So every single so-called community or nation or whatever they come, they have their little meetings, they have their groups. They start to have their own supermarkets. So what you're speaking on. So I'm gonna look into that and figure, because I was wondering how are they doing it. And like the Asian supermarkets, their children, part of they don't get paid. They just gotta come home, put in a couple hours, do their homework, and then back. That's part of the family business. But it's a community business.
Right.
So you just opened up that's
so
what
if we get a space where we want all organic or vegetarian meals or whatever it is that we want to make sure that we take care of ourselves, everybody gotta work. If maybe you're not a cook, that's besides the point, but can you clean? Can you take out the garbage?
Right.
You can do that. That's gonna be your job. We keep a list of who didn't put those hours in Black Dot. We see you've been missing your 8-hour sessions. You know what I mean? You approach them people. This is how we do it. We hold each other accountable. We got accountants among us. We got mathematicians that know how much it's going to cost to maintain the rent, and how much it's going to cost to bring in the product, and how many man hours are going to equate to that so that we never go broke. We never have to worry about so forth and so on. If we need cultural centers, how many lecturers are gonna come up to help us keep the cost down? And these lecturers basically, for the first 2 years, y'all working on pro bono.
Yes.
So we've done enough. So now we want you to come up, Black Dot, and do a 4-hour session. And all we can do is put your plane ticket and put you in a hotel. And the hotel might be suspect. We might have to give somebody who got a clean house. You're going to have to shack. This is what you do. And then we take those proceeds and they go back into the center. So we have a 12 or 24-month plan where we bring up a lecturer or 2 lecturers a month. And before you know it, now Black Dot, now you staying at the Blasey Blah. We got you a nice room because we built the foundation for that now. So now when you come up, oh, that's your price? That's not going to be a problem because we've built that particular foundation, and we take that template and we go all over the country. And this is how we get this done because that's what they're doing. Yes.
It's our responsibility to make sure that this brother, Black Dot, and others likewise can continue, right? Everything has to grow.
Yes.
So it's hurtful for an individual to have so much information because he himself is still growing.
Yes.
Right? So we have to, like as he's helping out, we have to help out too. So the students are responsible for the teachers, not the other way around.
Yes.
And also too, to keep in mind that a few what was it, last month or whatever, Umar Johnson was here, right? So he did a big lecture. Then everybody who was at the lecture, because he gave out contact, got contact information and stuff like that. Everybody who was at the lecture, or not everybody, certain people emailed him, right? Saying that, well, we need a follow-up. Based on what you talked about, we should have some type of follow-up in order to continue doing what we're doing. How come nobody showed up to the follow-up? These are the same people who are, right? The same people who, 4 years ago when we brought you here, right? We didn't have it in this building. We had it at some other spot. Trying to build our own community center. Everybody came to Black Dot, but then nobody came to Griff. Or who came to Griff didn't come to Hemet. And then who came to Hemet didn't come to, but if we're not consistent with our so-called consciousness,
and that's what everything we do.
If it's a repetitive theme.
If you have a new product, a new soap product, the community has to come out in droves to support you. You know what I'm saying? I tell young artists all the time, you have to get the support of your community first. When I put out a new book, I already know 200 people are going to show up because I got 200 hardcore friends.
That's
so
going to rep
I'm
that.
Order 200 books
Straight.
for the initial run because I got 200 hardcore people that's going to come out for me irregardless because this is how we show support for each other. So it should mean the same thing when we create a cultural center or we doing something. You got to come out and support. You know what I mean? Because you're going to need that same support one day. So when I hear, yo, Prime is doing what? I'm there. I got to be there because, you know what I'm saying? I may only have, I went to Asir, the Duke of Tears. He gave a book signing and an album release in New York. And not a lot of people show, but I had to show because the brother's a dynamic lecturer. His information is dynamic. And I couldn't afford to purchase both of the items he had. I had just enough money to support and buy one item. But I bought the one item and I told him the next time I come through, you know what I mean? So we have to come out in droves to support each other. We have brilliant people amongst us that create things that they don't get the proper support. And this is what I meant by when you drop an album, the entire conscious community worldwide has to support that from a mental perspective first. We need to do the magic to put that album where it needs to be, and then we have to come out in droves. You should never have to be coming somewhere and it's 9 people, 12 people. No, we're a small community as is. But this is how the Jews and other people empower themselves. They make sure they come out and support. And that support then is given back to the next brother who got a t-shirt line that's coming out. I gotta be there to support his t-shirt line because he needs that initial push to let him know that this product or this, whatever it is important. And that's where we lose because everybody got their own agendas going and we want to know why we have to depend on other people to feed us and do other things. No. Right. It's this lady in New York I just donated to. She got this restaurant she been trying to open. So, you know, you got the online, you can support. You know, and I read John, I said, wow, seasoned vegan. I said, this sounds like a great idea. I didn't have much, but I put my $25 down. You know what I mean? We have to support with our dollars. Economically is where we're losing that because we're dispersed and we don't think we have no power. We got to put that money together, one cultural center at a time, so nobody can tell us what we can do and what we can't
do. Yep.
Then we hold the parents accountable. Look, this center's here, but this center's not going to run itself.
Right.
So last time I looked, you've missed 7 events that we've given. We need you to start showing up at a couple of these events and bringing your dollars with you. Each person in this, a membership of this center has a duty. Even if you can't make every event, it's your duty to come up and put your money down on the table because this is your center.
Right.
This is not my center, this is your bookstore or your juice bar. I'm just particularly here running it, but it's yours. Your money is an investment into this particular juice bar. It's the reason this juice bar is here. You are a paying active member and you have a card or something which says your juice is not $5, your juice is $4. You know what I mean? This is what we got to do to support the community, because if not, we're going to constantly be relying on other people. Yes, sir.
I think another thing I'd like to put on the table is this whole concept of how we strategize about the solutions. I think a lot of us think in the, I know we all know Usain Bolt and the sprint. I think we have to stop thinking the sprint mentality. I think we got to start thinking about the marathon, because the sprint is over in 10 seconds or less.
True.
And I think that's what we do in our community. We're here for one event, and then that's it.
Right.
But when you're going to be training for a marathon, it's about sacrifice, it's about commitment, it's about determination, it's about perseverance. And I think the mindset that we take into this new war, into this new battle, has to be a marathon mindset and not the sprint. Because we're good at the sprint.
Yeah.
We're very good.
Bust people up in the sprint.
But the marathon, it takes a lot more.
Yeah.
And sacrifice is part of it.
Because these Europeans, they have a 10-year plan.
Yeah.
15-year plan.
That's why in More Science Temple of America, the prophet said that this is not only for us, this is for the youth and unborn.
Right.
Because we're laying this out for them to play it out.
Yeah.
Right.
They're thinking.
We know that.
They're thinking.
We know that we might not see the manifestations.
They're thinking 7 generations ahead.
Yes.
What I do today,
And we think
how is it going to impact on 7 generations down the line? Right? And that forces you to think differently.
And we're thinking about what we're going to do tomorrow.
Or what we're going to get today.
Or,
Yes.
Right? So you see, that's why the mindset has to change.
Look at this. The word success, right? A to B, that's success. Succession. Do it again and again, it makes you successful. And then when you bring it to other generations, they're your successors.
Yes.
Boy.
Yes. Yeah.
The word success takes more than one, and it's continuity. It's all about making it come over and over and over and roll over again.
Residual.
Okay? We just happy with
Rotarian.
here to there, and that's it. I did my thing, and that's it. Again, like I said, we have to go business minded. I just finished doing a business course, and I'm realizing what's really the major disconnection between all of us is this huge growth of fear amongst all of us. We have this great dependency on people that don't look like us, which is why the Asians, like, they got better prices or whatever. It doesn't matter. We need to start supporting our own understanding that, you know what, you get something back at the same time. We don't feel that we're trustworthy within ourselves, and we need to increase that. Okay, so I believe that if we work together in a sense and have an honest vibration, we can actually work through the kinks
How do we build this trust? because that's been ripped away from us, right?
We have
Through
to
slavery, whatever it
we have
is.
to stop using negativity and stop going backwards and just move forward.
Yeah, but for the young people, how do we build trust in our young people?
I understand.
And even within our community, like even our elders don't trust each other because they've been attacked so many times.
I understand. Right. But when you keep saying stuff like that, okay, that'd be subconscious, and that'd be like the thing we thinking about. Because really, truly, you get 4 brothers, okay, in a group, and they could want to create whatever business they want to create, and back in each brother's mind is, okay, who's gonna pull up first? Who's gonna pull up first?
Well,
that's the problem.
What's in it for me?
Right. No. Something should be in it for you. Something should be in it for you. But I'm talking about people are willing to say who's gonna jump ship first and do something totally different. Europeans, not even Europeans, Indians. You can be Sikh, Muslim, Christian, or whatever. They don't care. They all look alike, and they're all gonna get their things together and have the children in it.
Like that mind, right?
I think we should. What we're doing right now?
Speaking of Indians,
we should have like as much adult over here. We should have the same amount of youth sitting right beside us, understanding what we're going through and the problems we're trying to fix right now, so that they know that in 10 years, they know that they don't have to sit in the same seat and talk about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I just came back the Workers of Colors and Aboriginal Conference, and I sat there quiet, listening to these guys talk about what they want to do for the youths and what they want to do. And I got up and asked, okay, how many people have 10 years to retire? A few of them raise up your hand. 20 more, and I go, okay. And you guys are trying to make plans for these youths. Where are the youths? They should be here, understanding the problem we're facing right now, so that in 10 years from now, they don't have to sit in our seats and talking about these problems. At the end of the conference, can you believe I don't know what we solved? And it was the Workers of Colors and Aboriginals Conference. 6 hours sitting there, and I don't know what we solved. And people got paid for coming out there to sit down and just talk. And it's just sad, you know? I think we should get the youth involved in our activities more, like stuff like this. For them to sit down and understand what we're going through. Because if we don't do it, in 10 years they'll be doing exactly the same. It's gonna be a repeat.
But for me, I'm tired of sitting down and talking about it.
That's what you are.
That's why you go out to where the youth are at. If they're at the gym playing
if
ball all day, every day.
I'm tired. He's tired.
I'm tired.
And then they will be tired too.
There's a lot of us here doing the great works and doing our deeds, like putting it in action, showing improvement. And then there's a lot of people that just want to talk. Deeds speak, right?
Yeah, but one thing is this though, okay? Eventually, like he said, like Dad said, get business cards, and it's like a progression, okay? Because I came from Brampton, okay? I came from Brampton, and I'm like, okay, so are we just going to talk, or is something going to happen? For me, I want to see something happen in terms of, okay, connect with this person here and make process. Even when we move and we fall, who cares? Someone behind you will catch you before you even drop. Okay, but make some movements. You guys talk about the whole music stuff. Cool. Let's create a process where, okay, you know what? We're establishing something for the kids to kind of cultivate themselves, and then have a place where, you know, I need more workers doing constructions or whatever, so that those kids could actually talk to that person over here who needs help. Okay, and then start creating something tangible. I want to see that. I've been doing this One Love stuff since almost 8 years. You know what I'm saying? And as another black group, and all we did was just talking about history. I go, you know what? Let's create future.
Point. Black Dot. I know this is a common theme. Like for the last couple of years, everybody's coming to the round table and complaining about we gotta stop talking, we gotta start doing. Same time, we have to recognize that things have already been done that we're still coming around the table talking about we need to do. For example, how many people read the brother's book?
Just bought it.
That's why, right? Because in it, he made examples over and over and over again about different perspectives on how to see the metaphysical struggle that's going on between us, right? Everywhere and the sister brought up if they're playing basketball, somewhere we go play basketball. Well, I want you to speak. I don't want this to be just us, right? But could you elaborate, continue, or upgrade or update people on your philosophy, concepts on meeting them at this medium, but because we're spiritually, a lot of us are only dealing with these higher sciences. We've forgotten to master the lower self.
Yeah.
You'd help teach me that.
It's important that we sometimes we get our heads out of the clouds.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We understand who we are in terms of advanced beings. But when was the last time we went to a coat drive and handed out coats? Or we went and physically fed. This is one thing my children, my 10 and 12-year-old are doing this year. You know what I'm saying? We're going out to feed because we're losing touch with the physical needs of the youth. The youth, they want to understand who we are and how great we are, but they need physical help. So it's important that we balance who we are spiritually and metaphysically with hands-on work. So I understand the frustration where we keep giving these little meetings, yeah, but then everybody go home and everybody feel good. What are your deeds? You know what I'm saying? Show me your deeds. When the last time you sat down with the particular youth and did some hands-on work? When the last time y'all went and collectively and painted somebody's house that needed? These are the deeds that help us balance out as a collective what needs to be done, because I'm tired of talking too. And I told my kids, listen, we're going to literally feed people this year. We've got a canned food drive going in my house now for the people through Hurricane Sandy and things that we have to physically show them. It's one thing to manifest it here. If it doesn't trickle down into a physical act, you just killed the idea and the concept. So it's important to roll up our sleeves and physically get down and do some things that need, and it don't take a lot of people to do it. 4 of us can get together and say, look, listen, you know Miss Jones need help. Her damn backyard got a whole bunch of junk in it. And you may not think it's significant, it's very significant to her, and it gets us, it trains us to physically have a concept and say, now we're gonna act on it. So a lot of times we get overwhelmed when we look at the big picture. We need to open up a bookstore. Damn, that just seems so far off. You know what I'm saying? No, to start it, we all need to go out and collect books from everybody we know. Let's start there. That means that's a physical act. Everybody's job is to come up with 25 books, right? Now, I don't care where you get your 25 books from, if you have to buy them, if you know somebody got books that's just sitting around. That's the physical manifestation of the idea that we need to manifest. So if us 4 brothers each say, listen, at the end of this 2-week period, we need 25 books from everybody. What we're doing is we're building the bookshop. You know what I'm saying? But we're building it in increments and pieces which give us some physical satisfaction because we know we're getting there. And it also keeps in perspective the marathon aspect that in 2 years' time, this cultural center will be open. And when it's open, it ain't just gonna be an empty shell. So now we go, all right, now we got the cultural center, ain't nothing in it. You know what I'm saying? Who? All right, so we're gonna have a juice bar in this cultural center. Who know how to make juice? Who's the juice bartenders? Your goal is to learn how to mix and master drinks because you guys are gonna be, and it adds, it gives us the balance to show, and then we don't feel like our work is for naught. You know what I mean? So that's the problem. When we tell the youth they need to go out and keep money in their pocket, they're saying, but you ain't providing no jobs. All right, so let's get a paper route going on. Let's get a car wash going tomorrow. And we're gonna get everybody we know who got cars gonna come through and get their car washed. They put some money in their pocket. A portion of that goes into the kitty in which they see, and they have the trust that nothing's gonna happen to that money. So they're watching that money grow toward whatever the marathon goal is. But the sprint goal is that I need some sneakers. So I need to go out and wash 9 cars. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
Right now, I was in a tough situation. And now I have to work full-time and go to school full-time. And I work at this like factory where I have to do like real back-breaking labor. And it's only like $10.50 an hour. And it's like, I asked the elder for help, right, to get work, and he just gave me a classified. And I went through the jobs, and I did get a job from some like, you know, like different other races of people, but they're paying me right now. So I got frustrated, and I came up with a system. Can't we do work where like I work for your company and then you start paying me minimum wage and then I in time pay you back like 25% of what you gave me, so you get something back after I make 3 months salary? So it's like you're giving me the job right now as a handout, but you're getting some back from me because I keep asking for jobs for people. Oh, they're gonna babble on me like, oh, get a resume.
Oh, because you don't like the process you have to go through with the resume.
Like just give me a job. Like I was in like severe, like I needed help like a lot, and now I have to go to school full time and work from 3 to 10:30 and do all this other shit.
Well, you know, as a collective, that's going to build your character overall, because what you're doing, you're becoming a problem solver. So instead of just sitting around and saying, I can't do both, you're managing to do both. And the universe will always open doors for you when you show that you have the fortitude to get the work done. See, a lot of people think being God is just, I'm God. No, it's putting in the work to manifest that godhood in your everyday life. So certain times you gotta just go out and you gotta work those 2 jobs. But you know what's gonna happen? One day the door's gonna open and you're gonna reap the benefits of what it is that you've already put in place. So never give up on what you have to do, and it's building character. You have to sometimes challenge yourself to find out just who you are. And struggle is a part of that. Everything ain't always supposed to be rosy. I am who I am because of the struggles I had to go through. And I wouldn't do not one iota of it over. You see what I'm saying? Because it has built me to who I am. I'm battle tested in the fields that have made me strong. So that's important at the same time. Yes?
I want to say 2 things. One, we probably have about 20 minutes, half an hour.
Okay.
So we wanna make sure that the youth get their whatever they have to get to you, you know, so they can write dialogue with you. And with what the brother was saying, I can't remember your name, bro. Subliminal. If you take a key out of what he was saying earlier, I think you weren't here yet, but the work that you're doing, if it's not considered work, it's not going to be hard. It's not going to be back-breaking if it's something you love to do, if you're passionate about it. Now, you know, just like that saying, you're going to have to go through the struggles. But, you know, when I was doing the back-breaking work, you know, it was workout for me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't look at it as work. You know, if I have to lift those 20 boxes or whatever, all right, I'm going to take my time and I'm going to do, you know, some reps or whatever with them before the work's done. Just so I'm not thinking about it as I got to lift.
No, but think how beautiful it is, too, that this brother doesn't look at the option of selling dope or taking
exactly.
That's honorable.
Exactly.
And that's very honorable. That's very honorable, because the fact that he's saying I gotta work, he's not saying, well, I can make money like this. I can make money
easy. Yeah.
You're solving your
That's a real man right there.
That's what being God is about. God is a problem solver. And sometimes the problems are minute that you can work through, and sometimes they're very intricate, which requires you to sit back, meditate on it, and solve those particular problems. These women who are with men who can't solve problems, get rid of them. These men are supposed to be able to solve problems, and it doesn't mean she's not supposed to solve problems. She's that balance. She's gonna add that insight. She has that intuitiveness that you don't see. She know you can't just do that. She know it requires this and that. And you go, nah, I got this. And she go, okay, go ahead. And it all comes full back to circle. You was right. And that's cool too. That's cool too, because that's that balance that we need. Sometimes I'll come out like this and my wife will go, boo. That's not gonna happen like that. I can already see it. She has the fortitude to see it. And I go, no problem. You know what I mean?
But to add to what he's saying too is,
and then I'm gonna get to your question.
I'll just add really quickly. Sometimes you gotta, when you do things in life that you don't like, doing things you don't like can be just as important as doing things you do. Because you realize what you don't like, and you can X that off your list. Maybe lifting boxes is not what you should be doing, bro. At all. Maybe it's what you got to do right now to pay the bills, but that's going to give you motivation, which I rarely see in a lot of people nowadays, right? Even adults. 18, and you're already figuring it out.
And what are you willing? What are you willing to do? I mean, especially if you have family. I'm willing to shovel elephant shit at the circus if I gotta feed the babies. But that's not the end all and be all. I got a whole nother plan. But the ends will justify the means. For right now, the babies have to eat. So let's feed the babies, and then you know I'm not gonna be shoveling elephant dung for long. I know, boo, I got you. I'm here with you. As long as you're here with me, next thing you know, so forth. So would you have to? I want to speak to the queen.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I want to ask, do you guys do lectures down in the Caribbean, like in Jamaica, for example?
I go wherever I'm called. I just did one in Bermuda not too long ago. So wherever, I don't do a lot of lectures, but wherever the people call and they want to hear me speak, I'm willing to go, you know, and share what little bit of information that I can share. So, and it's a beautiful thing, because it's one thing to you know, put out a book and people can't touch you and feel you. It's another thing to go get the pulse of the people and let them know I'm just like you. I'm going through the same struggles you may be going through, and I like throwing my arms around the people, and because you inspire a lot of people, and it humbles me. You know what I mean? For the people that I've inspired and crossed. So I like to really get down and meet the people and create that kind of foundation for the people. So that's my thing. So when I get an opportunity, and it gives me an opportunity to be Black Dot, that superhero. At home to my children, I'm Dad. Yeah, right.
Regular dude. Clark Kent.
You know what I mean? And I'm helping the kids and doing this and that. And then I get a call, like a beep, 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 beep. The Black Dot, you needed in Toronto. Then I get to, you know what I'm saying, throw on my cape and become Black Dot. Then I go back home and on my Clark Kent tip. Yeah. And I'm just, oh, Dad, where you been? Oh, okay, good. Because I need help with this algebra problem. I turn back into Dad, or you know, my hubby, or the fellas around the way. So it gives me an opportunity. We all get to wear that. Prime is not prime all the time. You know what I'm saying? When you turn on them beats, now he turns into prime, and it becomes a whole different essence. So it gives me an opportunity to, you know, continue to do what I love to do, but what I have to do at home sometimes may be totally different. So you being young, you're getting the training now that you're willing to do what you have to do to feed yourself and your family, but never let it cut off what it is you want to do or what you're here to do.
Good job,
Good job. For real. What suggestions can you make for myself, for example? Because when I do travel back home, like where my mother's from, Jamaica, I always like to bring like school supplies for the children, for the community. And I find that even when you ask people, can you make a $1 donation, or even go to the dollar store and buy some just like little paper books or binders, little calculators, like some people, they don't really, I don't know, it's not that they're not interested. I'm not a person that likes to really push and bother people and ask more than once, really, if I ask the first time. But you know, have any suggestions that I can
our people have a sense of scarcity.
Yes.
Pardon? Sorry?
And there is no scarcity in the world.
Yeah.
You know, people are scared and afraid. No, I better not give my money and this and that. But you gotta make sure what you do, every time you go home, you gotta make sure your responsibility is to bring books. You can't worry about what everybody else is doing. So your responsibility, never get off that plane without bringing them particular supplies, because those supplies are important to the ones who recognize that they are important. I had one kid in my after school program, I had to buy him like everything, books, this, that, and the look in his sister's face, she said thank you, like, because she knew he wasn't gonna get it at home. So it became my responsibility to make sure when I saw him that he had books, supplies, because here it is, he wants to learn, but he doesn't have the necessary supplies to even get that little bit of piece of work done. We wound up buying him a bike. Big, you know, he was the best kid in the class with the less resources, so we wound up buying him a big ass mountain bike, and all the other kids were like, ooh, but he earned that bike.
That's right.
Just to add to that, you got a camera with you, right?
Yeah.
So I find that's what's been helping me with the work I do with the youth is documenting and letting people see it. So if you can just take a little 2-minute clip of the look on those kids' faces when they receive it, put it up on that site that he talked about, where people can make their own donations and let the story speak for itself. Because I know for me, sometimes it's like you give the money and you've been burned in the past, right? And you're afraid where that money is it really going to go to where it's supposed to go.
But it really goes though, because it's nice to hear like people that I didn't even give the books to. I guess their parents will come up to me and say, like, I remember you gave whatever to my daughter or my grandchild or whatever, you know. So it's something I thought about, like visual documentation too. Through
use your camera as a megaphone to highlight what you're
That's
doing
a great
and
idea.
show other people what you're doing.
Because some people need to physically see it, the results of that particular work. And you know, because there are people, the world is a big
I've
place.
always found it funny when we, you know, growing up seeing these so-called, you know, African people with bumps and, you know, the shows I'm talking about, run by the pale-skinned people, taking and just showing what they want to show. And everybody in this landmass, well, I'm giving my $1 a day or my $30 a month. And these guys are making millions.
Hands over foot.
And then
A
they're
lot of people
taking
don't
that
realize, right.
and they're getting tax exemptions and investing it and they're paying salaries and they're buying their kids who already have Mercedes and cars and all kinds of stuff.
Organizations that you give your money to, sometimes only 15% actually make it to the people because they have these administration fees. They have all these other fees. So the Red Cross and I never give to that because their system is structured. It's a hustle, so to speak.
It's a hustle,
and they use those pictures because we're trying to be moral in an immoral world in a lot of sense. So these people are breaking all kind of rules because they really don't care about the people. You care about the people, so a lot of times you got to make sure your money goes directly to those people. You know what I mean? As much as you possibly can. You want to ask a question, brother?
No, it's alright.
Okay.
You sure?
No, I was asking him if he had a question because I kind of saw it.
Anything, bro.
I had one, but you kind of answered it.
You sure? You got girlfriend problems? Man? You sure you want to highlight?
Nah, not Taji,
bro.
not
I'm
Taji.
here for you.
No, it's kind of his question.
Oh, okay.
Re-ask it. Ask it.
Still ask it.
Ask
it. Don't get shy.
Because
Don't
yours
get
might
shy.
be worded different, you know?
Yeah, it's just about like working issues. And
loud.
I don't know if
Can't hear you.
this question.
Loud.
Speak up,
Okay.
Taji.
Do you need a job? Is that the issue? Huh?
Not looking for one.
But you're saying you see a lot of red tape in the process of getting a job and just working and earning. You're finding a lot of difficulty.
You know what you do? Write a resume with your mom. And go. I see you two. I see you doing sales in terms of like an athlete's world. You know, like they like the young and the urban. That's what they're going for. So when you guys work in the young and the urban sections, or not sections, but like type of jobs, they'll hire you.
I have an attitude problem.
Now that you're aware of that, fix it.
I was going to say that because you know that there's no excuse for you not to at least address it. Know thyself means we have to be self-critical, and we really have to be honest with self about the things that we need to improve on as a collective. You know what I mean? My management skills have suffered because I would go and give everything away, and I'd come home and wife would be like, all right, so let's count up. And I go, oh, well, you know, I had to give. And she go, all right, I understand to a certain degree. But when we looking at the supplies we buying based on what you're giving away for free, we losing.
Yes.
So I had to put my ego aside. My wife business skills is impeccable.
Yeah.
So I had to say, all right, Ma, you handle the wife. So wifey books all of my gigs now because I was just traveling the country saying, all right, whatever you can give. Now, on certain places like, hey, I got a personal relationship with, so these guys can call me directly and be like, look, we need you to come up. But for people who I don't know and organizations that want for me to come out and speak, I had to stop devaluing my worth, okay, and so to speak. So now my wife, but I had to look in the mirror and just admit my business skills. I'm a creative for it. I want to just do all the creative stuff. All right, so I had to give her that duty of saying she handles the business, and boo, if they don't meet that price, you can't make that trip because it's going to be counterproductive for us to do so. And then whatever she say goes, I'm like, you got to speak to my business partner. You don't even got to know it's my wife, it's my business partner. Right. Speak to my business partner about that particular, if you want me to come speak at your college or this and that. So that's just one example of recognizing where my weaknesses are, and we all have them. And our goal is to work on, that's what being God is about. The transformation from man to God is walking your path and recognizing that each and every challenge is just a challenge. Doesn't mean it's not, and you should be better for it. I ain't had a bad relationship in my life, even ones that on the surface didn't seem to work. Those were great relationships. You know how many times I got beat for money or this and that, and they were great relationships because now I know who not to deal with or what to deal with in the future. Everything you go through, you have to go through for a reason. but we have this tunnel vision and we don't want to look at the whole spiritual Zen master of it to find out why we're going through it and what we need to learn from it.
What that is you're talking about is one thing I talk about with youth all the time, and that's payment. Because payment comes in many different forms.
Yes.
It's not just money. That money is important to keep you, sustain you, put food on your table, but there's other forms of payment.
Yes.
Right? When I toured with Mos Def, I didn't make a penny off of touring with Mos Def. But my payment was reaching out to that University of Utah, getting 4 kids in their videography course, get 4 kids to videotape my stuff, put it on YouTube, and it will live there for a lifetime.
Yes.
Nobody knows I didn't make a cent.
Yes.
But that's become part of my resume, which has opened up other doors. When, you know, there's a slideshow of me and President Barack Obama. Not one of them photos is real. I photoshopped all of them. But in the process of making those photoshops, I learned how to use Photoshop.
Nice.
So now people pay me to do the flyers, my business card, and it goes on and on and on. And as an entertainer, I make sure that I get on the flyer because I made the flyer.
Right.
So so trying new things, making a list, recognizing the things you don't like is just as important as recognizing what you do like. But understand that things can take you in many different ways, directions, and there's many different forms of payment than just one.
Now I want you to chronicle how you make the transformation from having a bad attitude to a great attitude, because you're going to run across people who have the same problem, and you become the aforementioned perfect example on how to make that transformation and chronicle it. Yo, what I had to do, I had to address this, I had to do that, and then I saw, listen, when you change, everything in your universe begins to change. The people you start meeting along the way, because your attitude change becomes a whole different, because all is mental. So you wind up running across people who have jobs that you like just by you saying, you said, I'm not looking for a job. So the universe is saying to you, he don't want a job. When you secrete the vibration that I want a job, right? And I'm willing to do what it takes to meet the vibration of that particular job, doors begin to open. You begin to meet people that you didn't meet before that go, oh, I got a job. But when you say, I'm not looking for a job, the universe goes, okay, well, he don't really want a job.
I have 2 questions. One question is with success. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I know like I want to do a lot of like African stuff, Afrocentric stuff, but like I want to have flat screen TVs and drive a nice car.
It's the rule. Last time, take it outside.
If you want that type of stuff, like if I want Jordans, why is that judging my character? If I want to,
it's not.
It's not. It's
supposed
about what
to have
you
Jordans.
think is important for you.
I mean, you can have, the universe is here to oblige anything and everything you want. You see what I'm saying? It's the means by which you choose to get it and what kind of value you put on it. Are these sneakers more important than who you are as a collective? And are you willing to do illegal things to get them and so forth and so on? But you spend, when you earn your money, you do what you want with your particular money. So you should never feel inadequate because you have on these sneakers if you work for them. Right. That's your reward for your hard effort that you put in. Even if you want to drive a Benz, that's great. If you can afford to do it, if you've put in the work to afford that, then you should do that. You know what I mean? So, but if you kill people to get that Benz, that vibration that's embedded in the Benz is only gonna bring you, because it would never leave you. The negative vibration is always gonna be with you. So everywhere you go, that negative energy will be with you. All right. So how you obtain what it is you want, material things, and we got to stop thinking we need to be allergic to material things or feel inadequate because I'm driving a Benz and you're not. Step your game up, son, if that's what you want to do. Right. You know what I mean?
Matter of fact, the community could really use him, because if you are mixing the Afrocentric teachings and knowledge with your love of a lot of things that most people like, you're a force to be reckoned with, because you're speaking their language already.
Boom.
Exactly.
But it's what he's saying. So you're an asset.
What do you want to bring to the table is what you need to think about. Like how
because we know our youth like things. They like things. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But we have to create the formula, the mathematical formulas to obtain those things in a way that's honorable. When you show youth how to do that, as opposed to killing their brothers and sisters to obtain them, you know what I mean? That's where the imbalance comes in. All right? So I want a Benz. What is it going to take to match the mental vibration of the Benz? You have to see yourself in it. All right, and you have to see yourself in it, and it then creates the vibrational energy in which you can match what you have to do to be in it, and be in it honestly. All right. So I spoke yesterday about the magic that a lot of these rappers are using. All they're doing is putting the cart in front of the horse by creating visuals of them in the bands. And it's sort of like they meditating. Yeah. Meditating, I need to see myself in this Benz. The more I can hold that picture, the sooner I can create the vibration for it. But what they're doing is they're cheating. They'll make a video of it and have you meditate on them in the Benz. So every time you're watching the Rick Ross video, you're meditating on him being in the Benz. Next thing you know, he on the Benz. He coming through like, thank you, appreciate you watching my video 50 times. Accelerate the thought process to create.
Every time you sing a
song, put me in the Benz.
Is that wrong though? Is that wrong though?
No, it's not wrong. It's not wrong, but I'm telling you to invest your energy in you.
No doubt, no doubt, yeah.
So they're telling you if you're not going to use your mind, I might as well use it.
No doubt.
And government do the same thing. If you're not going to think or use your brain power, I might as well use it. It's there.
Yeah. For example, with the Rick Ross example, opposed to you watching the video and seeing Rick Ross in the Benz, put yourself in there.
Yes.
See how much money he makes now.
Yes.
Put yourself around the girls and put yourself with the big chain on your neck and visualize you in it, opposed to visualizing him in it. You know, just like 50 Cent, get rich or die trying. Well, if 50 Cent's still alive, he's obviously not trying.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because you're supposed to die trying to get rich.
Yep.
Okay, well, he's still alive right now. So,
understand
what's his message? You know what I mean?
That's all.
What's
Every
his
time
message?
you listen to the song, and the chorus becomes a chant. These are things our ancestors did. They chanted to bring things into a physical. Every time you listen to the same hook of the song, you're actually chanting. Not just you. I'm talking about everybody as a collective. A collective chant. Vibration brings them or holds and fixates what they're doing. It keeps their stuff fixed into this particular reality. It's magic, but it's magic we too can use. I believe that's it, right? We 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock?
One more question.
One more, yeah.
I was watching your videos, right? And then you were talking about that turntable thing. How it's like black and it's like opens up vortexes.
Mm-hmm.
Should we talk about that?
Well, I was just demonstrating that the record is 360 degrees. It's a complete circle. It's just geometry and spinning. Everything within this universe spins. Your hairline spins. Everything is spinning. The record was spinning. And by spinning, it being a dark, melanated, pure black disc, spinning was opening up vortexes because sound and energy, the needle is a diamond, pressed onto the particular record, and then by moving the record back and forth, they were manipulating time and space by doing so. You know what I mean? So that's how we're doing magic, and a lot of times we don't realize we was doing that particular magic. We was just doing it. Later on, I came along and recognized what it was. But when they were doing it, they were just doing it. And that's just my perception of it. I said, wait a minute, hold on. Revisiting it, I said, no, this is alchemy right here. This is magic. This is science. All right? And us, when you hear the term square in the circle, you know what I'm saying, which, you hear in the Masonic lodges or the Moors, we talking about square in the circle. The record, the turntable was a square, but the circle on the record, so we were squaring the circle with the record itself, and not realizing, beginning the pillars of the Kabbalistic pillars in Kabbalah was 3 pillars, but when I noticed that the DJ had 2 large pillars of speakers standing and he was in the middle, he became that middle pillar. You know what I mean? So we're still dealing with science once we recognize what it is that we're looking for.
And we've always been.
And we've always been, and always
So
will be. So with that said, this is the Black Dot.
Yeah.
These are my chronicles. This is my story, and I am
Sticking to it.
Yeah.